Good afternoon and welcome to the last day of the Junior Asian Rugby Tournament Under 20 live from Racecourse. We are ready to kick off. Sri Lanka taking on Chinese Taipei. It's a 2:30 kickoff here. And the match coming up later on in the evening is Hong Kong versus South Korea. Both matches deciders today. And Sri Lanka is facing a relegation match. If they lose today, they will fall into Division 1 next season as Tarinda Ratwatta swap positions. First time in this season I'm seeing him playing in number 13 as he switches his kick 2 onto his right side. In the meantime, Chinese Taipei knocked forward. Sri Lanka playing advantage. Early opportunity. Prasad Malinda, who has come on for Sudham Suryarachi at scrum half, gives it to Shenal Silva. Now out comes Ratwatta once again with the ball. Dancing down the line is Situm Piris. The ball coming out once again to Tarinda Ratwatta. Gives it to Prince Chamra, taking into tackle. Nicely set up, 20 just outside the 22-meter line. Stefan Gregory, the other player who's been brought in today in place of Ganuka Disanaika. Two big props playing for Sri Lanka today as Ratwatta with the ball. Now puts in the chip behind the player inside the 22. Good collection from the win three-quarter for Chinese Taipei. Spins is wide on the outside. And in danger is the Hong Kong player looking for support. And an early penalty for holding on for Sri Lanka. So a good start. And joining me on commentary is Amin. Good start for Sri Lanka.
Absolutely an explosive start so far. They have probably understood the importance of this game. As you mentioned, this is a definite decider. If Sri Lanka go on to lose this game, they're definitely relegated to the lower division. So we're looking at an opportunity for early points here, as Sri Lanka will definitely want to get the scoreboard ticking. Looking at the previous games, I think one of the main follies for Sri Lanka was that they gave too many unnecessary penalties, and I'm pretty sure they would have learned from those mistakes and been a lot more responsible and mature with their decision making, because that definitely costed both those games for Sri Lanka. That seems like a missed opportunity, Dinuk. It was well within reach, but unfortunately not finding the accurate angle there.
Tarinda Ratwatta once again missing a kick. He missed a couple of penalties in the last match, and but he was brilliant in the first match. But since then, he's just faded off with his kicking duties. Today playing at number 13, unusual position. The first time in his career I'm seeing him playing at outside centre. Sri Lanka, of course, making a lot of changes. We'll read through that during the break. And so once again, Sri Lanka with the ball in hand. Kevin Dixon looking for support, and knock forward from Rehan Silva once again. An opportunity. These are the mistakes you were talking about that Sri Lanka need to cut down, and once again they have given the opportunity to Chinese Taipei, who are dangerous and who have some dangerous runners in their backs, and players like Chen and they are inside center, and the center combination of Chen and Chang are very good, and they've been outstanding during the last game. They beat South Korea. That was an upset, and they will put a lot of pressure, and a lot of changes in the Sri Lanka team, of course, today, as South Korea ready to put the ball into the scrum. The referee not happy with the scrum binding. Sri Lanka, of course, having a new front row today, having Stefan Gregory being brought in for Ganuka Disanaika. Isuru Rangala has been dropped down in the second row, and it's been Akila Pereira has been brought in. The third row remained the same with Shenal Silva, Tariq Sali, and Omalka Gunratna. A lot of changes in the back division as Chinese Taipei put the ball in. It'll be Chinese Taipei ball, and in the meantime I'll run through the changes in the back division as well. Tarinda Ratwatta has been moved into outside centre. Rehan Silva has been brought in as fly half. Sheikh remains at number 12. Prince Chamra on the outside also remains. And on the wing, Asela has been taken out. That's Asela Vijayasinghe. And Bhanuka Gamage, the young royalist, I'm surprised to see him for the first time this season. In this tour, he's a much better player. He deserves to be there. And also a change in the number 15 jersey is Kevin Dixon, who has come in place of Nimshan Javan, who has dropped off to the bench. And Chinese Taipei now, Chen with the ball. Here's the dangerous inside center, brought down by Rehan Silva. Once again, the fly half. It's a penalty advantage for offside. And once again, Sri Lanka give away position, Amin.
Absolutely. As you rightly pointed out, it's these mistakes that could cause a great deal of worry, especially in a game like this. And it's important that you keep your discipline in this format, because if you give away those penalties, definitely the opposing team will grow in confidence and they will start to exploit whatever weak patches that Sri Lanka might have. As we have the first line out of the day today, well collected there by Chinese Taipei as they look to work the line, or actually use their forwards to gain some ground here. So far they haven't been able to move too far forward, but they're working at it. And see, these are the positions that we should learn, or rather Sri Lanka should learn from, because they continue to retain the ball and they're definitely tiring the defense as well. So here we have the Taipei forwards really posing a good challenge for the Sri Lankan defenders here. Still with the ball available, as Sri Lanka defend as hard as possible. Probably just 5 meters out from the try line, and they're definitely inching closer. And this time they look to work the line. Interesting option as the big man there is brought down. Still with options on the right, but he decides to go on his own, as the watchful Sri Lankan defense managed to bring the man down. Probably around the 15th phase in this play, and Taipei definitely having most of the advantage. And once again, another penalty being conceded here again for offside, and this should be an easy one for the Taipei kicker.
It will be, and I'm surprised with the defensive pattern again with the Sri Lankans. Omar Gunaratne being such a huge forward, he's defending in the backs with the backs in between Sheikh and Tari, and that's where the Taipei players were punching in. They were right with the forwards because they know there's one man down, and also a lot of weight down there. So Sri Lanka basically defending with 7 forwards against the Taipei 8, as Taipei score their first points of the day, 3-0 they lead. And once again, Sri Lanka guilty of conceding penalties inside their own 22 within the kicking range. As Ratwata to restart play. Going on to his right once again, as the Taipei forwards have all lined up on to their left. In the meantime, they have knocked the ball forward. That's Nisal Desata, or rather it's Akila Pereira, who has knocked the ball forward for Sri Lanka, and opportunity for Chinese Taipei to get out of jail. And Sri Lanka also should be knowing about the Taipei fly half. That's Chung Cheng, or rather, sorry, it's Lee Chen, who's very good. He didn't start the first match against Hong Kong, but against South Korea he was instrumental. He was brilliant in attack. He knew when to kick and when not to, and he put a lot of pressure against South Korea. He single-handedly took the game against the Koreans, and Taipei benefited a lot from him. Once again, giving the ball on the outside. Referee playing advantage. Chinese Taipei putting the ball behind, and it's a penalty for not binding till the scrum was called over from the referee. I think it was Stefan Gregory who popped out and put his hands up, and it was too easy for the referee to spot him. He was out of the bind going up. Huge lad, Stefan Gregory. And Lee Chen will have the ball within his hands and try to kick this thing to touch. No much breeze moving across today, as the play has been brought back into the 40-meter mark in the Sri Lankan territory, and once again Taipei look threatening.
Absolutely, I don't think, except for the early moments of the game, that Sri Lanka have settled as yet. Taipei now with most of the position in this first half, as they managed to collect the ball off that throw-in. And looking back at the previous two games as well, it has been the Sri Lankan defense that has actually lost momentum in terms of the game, and a brilliant pass there, extremely flat on that occasion, exposing that gap. As you have the Taipei offense still working hard, trying to find those little incisive movements. And again, now we have another penalty in favor of the visiting team. So Sri Lanka really need to get their defensive work sorted out. I think Tharindra will have to speak to his mates and make sure that they're all focused and in this game. Brilliant kick there by Chinese Taipei, gaining a good 25 to 30 meters, as Lee Chien puts his team in a very good position to score a try here. They have been strong with their set pieces in terms of the line out so far in this day. I'm pretty sure they would have seen as to how Sri Lanka would have combated in the previous games, and again they managed to win this set piece as well. And another penalty conceded, so surely Sri Lanka should be wary of this. So it's put to touch once again, and we'll have the fourth line out for Chinese Taipei. So far in terms of set pieces, they have been extremely strong. I'm pretty sure, like I said before, that they would have analyzed as to how Sri Lanka would approach this game more or less, or what they have in their arsenal, but whatever the research that has been done has worked so far, and again for the fourth time, extremely good line out. As Taipei look to try and breach the Lankan defense here. Still have a lot more work to do. So far the Sri Lankan defense really holding it tight there and very close. And it seems like the ball has been held up. So good defensive work there by Sri Lanka to manage to prevent that try, or that might have really affected the morale within the team. 3 points is alright, but 10 points ahead within the first 10 minutes of the game is not what you would really expect. And going into a pressure game like this, I'm pretty sure you'd want to be on top right from the start. Now we have a scrum in favor of Chinese Taipei. They still have that option of scoring that elusive try so far. They definitely deserve whatever the position at least that they have had so far. Here is Taipei scrum. A lot of pressure being put by the Sri Lankan defense, but they opt to work the line. Interesting pass as the man is brought down. So Taipei will have to rework this again. They have men on the left flank. So far, good defensive work, but again, line caught offside as The referee signals a penalty in favor of Chinese Taipei. And it seems like wisely they might opt for 3 points once again, well within kicking distance. So I honestly don't see anything wrong with that decision.
Exactly, that's the correct decision, and Taipei has has spent the entire game so far in the Sri Lankan half, and Sri Lanka, this is the 5th penalty, and I'm sure the referee will have a word with Tarinda and ask his boys not to do this again. If so, he might reach his pockets the next time. I don't know if they're getting their marks correctly, but this is the 5th time they've been spotted offside, and luckily they'll only concede 6 points, so they need to get their defensive line sorted. Put the marks on the Chinese Taipei attacking game, which will surround Lee Chen, their playmaker at fly half, and their inside center. That's Fan Chen. Ratwata once again opting to go to his right. Long kick into the Taipei 22. This time it's a high tackle from Tariq Sali. It was an attempted high tackle, so once again Sri Lanka giving away position, and Lee Chen will be very happy to kick that ball into touch to at least bring play back to Sri Lankan half, and it's into touch, and once again they bring back play into the Sri Lankan half are the Chinese Taipei boys, and they'll be very happy to play in the opposition half as any team would do. 6 points to nil in the first half, the lead. And as we move into the break, that'll be the 1 minute water break that's been given, and referee having a word with Tarinda Ratwata in the meantime, and he'll probably seven penalties given away from Sri Lanka so far, so he would have told Ratwata that the next penalty will be a yellow card, so Sri Lanka need to be very careful on that. And in the meantime, we'll run through the Sri Lankan lineup today. A lot of changes. Front row will have had Anuradha Karunatilaka, that's Basu, Nisal Desata, and Stefan Gregory. That will be the front row, which will represent Sri Lanka in the match. Situm Piris and Akila Pereira partner at locks. Tariq Sali, Senal Dilaka Silva, and Nomalka Gunratna will be that third row, which Sri Lanka has been doing very well in that particular phase of play. The loose play has been very good from the third row, but I would like to see more turnovers from them. And halves combination changed. Prasad Malinda comes in, and Rehan Silva also coming in, and in the centers, Sheikh and Ratwata partner there, 12 and 13. Banuka Gamage and Prince Chamara will play as the wings. Kevin Dixon at fullback. Supunwana Kulasurya comes in at number 16. It's good to see the young hooker there. And Ganuka Disanaku has been moved into the bench. Dhirendra Ratwata, Isuru Rangala also has been moved into bed. Chatura Dilshan, Umesh Madhushan is another talented second row. He was fantastic in the school season. Sudham Suryarachi and Nimshan Jayawardena will complete the 23 for today. And as Chinese Taipei put the high ball in, Sri Lanka trying to turn over ball, not managed to do it. Chinese Taipei hold on to it. Now it comes to Lee, gives it to Chen with the ball, showing it off, and hitting up in the middle is Wei Huang. And Sri Lanka in the meantime have the ball in their hands as Sheiks takes into contact. Prasad Malinda looking for the ball. It comes out. Has been brought down by Chinese Taipei. Prasad Malinda once again gives it to Rehan Silva. Ratwata off to Prince Chamara. Lovely pass. Dixon has one man to beat and gives it to Bhanuka Gamage. Will he score his first try? He pops it off to Ratwata and he will go under the post. This is unselfish play from the Sri Lankans, and this is what we were lacking. And that break has brought in the momentum for Sri Lanka. What a lovely back play there. Kevin Dixon, Bhanuka Gamage, Tarinder Ratwata, Sheikh setting it up in the middle. And Bhanuka Gamage just 2 meters outside the line, trying not to stretch there, unselfishly gives it to Ratwata, who scores it under the post and will have the conversion to come. Good try, Amin.
Definitely, and even throughout this tournament we've seen Sri Lanka actually getting that support play segment of their game extremely well worked out, and that's important to see because going in to the future, I think this team might be a good prospect for Sri Lanka as a whole, and that conversion is put through as well. So Sri Lanka go on to 7 points and currently lead this game by 1. In terms of position, Taipei definitely have had the better half. They have probably around 75 to 80% of the position in this first half as you approach the 20-minute mark. But I don't think they'll be too disheartened by this setback. They'll be definitely coming harder in right throughout this game. So Sri Lanka will definitely have to be wary with how they approach the rest of the 60 minutes in front. As here we have a clearance kick from Ratwata, just passing the 50-meter mark as the ball is worked wide on towards the right. A bit of a chip there, and the ball is available for Chinese Taipei, but it seemed like there was a knock on, but the referee doesn't think so, or he just signals it now. So knock on by Chinese Taipei, so Sri Lanka will have position from their own half as we move into the scrum. Again, speaking about the try, wonderful speed and agility shown by Bhanuka, who was included in this game, and goes on to show what he can offer for this team.
Exactly, that try was an example for the rugby principles that has been taught by the International Rugby Board. Go forward, support, and score a try. Exactly what they... Couple of things that I noticed during that try was brilliant from the backs. Nice support play. And their passing was superb. Nice soft hands, nice passes in front of the chest height, and off they went. Brilliantly done. Got the basic right as Omalka Gunaratne now running across. Gains about 5 meters across, ran about 20 meters there. Now it comes to Ratwata, gives it to Sheikh. Good tackle on him. The ball comes out once again. Ratwata looping around, giving it to Prince Chamara on the outside. And it's a penalty for Sri Lanka. And it doesn't look good. That was on Prince Chamara, if I'm not mistaken, who is down on the ground. And the assistant referee will have a word. Will he reach the pockets is a question. And he's up. He's a strong lad, this guy from Mount Lavinia, Prince Chamara. And referee will have a word with the Chinese Taipei player who attempted a high tackle. And as always, Chinese Taipei players coming and bowing down to the referee. Starting the Ratwata trying to gain some meters. The ball didn't find touch. It's in play as the Chinese Taipei player once again looking for meters as Ratwata once again gives it inside to Malka Gunratna. Lovely gap opened up there and knocked forward. From Situm Piris. So once again Sri Lanka in a good position. Malka trying to offload, and Situm Piris butterfingers drops the ball off and gives away position to Chinese Taipei once again.
Absolutely, I don't think Situm Piris actually expected that offload from Malka, because he was on his way down, and it's always tough to execute an offload in that situation. However, the point being that Sri Lanka failed to capitalize on that wonderful situation that they had. They definitely had the advantage as the Chinese Taipei defense was scrambling behind, but very good drive here by the Sri Lankans. Is the referee now having a word with the players there, as we have another scrum in favor of Chinese Taipei. Malka again in that previous move really showing as to what sort of strength he has, taking on 2-3 players at the same time. His guts definitely commendable, as Taipei now have the opportunity to try and see what they can do with this scrum. They would try to work the ball on the left. They have space as they kick the ball downfield, as Dixon is put under a bit of pressure. Strong lad Dixon, as he's finally brought down by the Taipei defense, as Sri Lanka opt to kick forward. Here we have Taipei now sending the ball downfield, and a horrible mistake there by Malka, but it did seem like a knock on, as the touch judge consults the referee and makes the correct call, I believe, Dinuk.
That's the correct call. It looked as if it was a knock on. The referee in the middle let it go.
I think it was a very big call there, because Omalka was definitely in a lot of space, and he was confused himself because he thought the referee will blow the whistle, and then he realized that it wasn't happening, so then he had to make that decision of moving forward. But good call there by the touch judge nevertheless, as Chinese Taipei now have the scrum. Again, the Sri Lankans not very clean in their approach in the scrums in this game so far. Referee has been consistently advising and explaining as to what he really wants in terms of setting it up. Chinese Taipei now within 30 meters inside the Sri Lanka territory, tries to work it off through the blind side. Now going the opposite direction, as the Lankan defense holds the Chinese Taipei play up, and again scrappy passes and another horrible knock on in the process. I think the Sri Lankans really need to rework their strategy. They aren't really calming themselves down in these sort of situations. So unfortunately again Sri Lanka conceding position where they should have actually tried to get out of jail. There are easily about 8 to 9 Lankan players in the same place, and the ball just whizzed past most of them, and I don't think any of them realized as to where that ball, where the intended pass was going to. As we have number 17 for Chinese Taipei. That's Zhu Jui Wu receiving some attention in the middle. Referee also having a word with one of the Sri Lankan players and also requesting a substitution for Zhu. Who seems to be limping off here. Hopefully that injury isn't too bad and he could get back into this game. However, back with the action, we have the Chinese Taipei scrum that was awarded earlier for that horrible knock-on. It'll be interesting to see as to what option they take. This time sending the ball out to the wonderful fly-off and a brilliant inside pass, definitely cutting open the Sri Lankan defense on that occasion. Still with possession here, Taipei now working the left flank. They have people in numbers on the left as they seem to slowly closing down that space, but unfortunately knocking on in the process as well, I believe. So this time fortune favors Sri Lanka as the home team receives a penalty and they'll gladly accept it, Dinuk.
Yeah, they will, and the skipper putting the ball into touch and no much meters gained. Just inside the 22. He'll be disappointed with that kick, Ratwata, which means he has to come back to the fly half position once again to clear. As up goes the ball once again. Prasad Malinda setting it up for Sri Lanka. Looking for support to Somalka, giving it to Ratwata once again inside the own half. And into touch it goes, quickly taken by Chinese Taipei. And into space they kick. Bhanuka Gamage was too much up on the angle and he knocks the ball. In the meantime is the Chinese Taipei win 3/4. Lucky for Sri Lanka. Bhanuka Gamage, I don't know what he was thinking. He was up with the Taipei attacking players. And no one at the back. Good spot from the Taipei fullback. He put the kick behind and luckily the chaser for Chinese Taipei knocked it on. That was Yun Lin who knocked the ball down for Chinese Taipei, and Huang who kicked the ball. He was brilliant in that pace of play as Sri Lanka. Opportunity to get out of jail. Prasad Malinda to put the ball into the scrum. Referee having a lot of chats in between scrums. Is not happy with something that he wants to see. Every scrum is being stopped at least once, so a lot of time is being wasted in this set piece as Prasad Malinda puts the ball once again inside the scrum. Nicely done from Sri Lanka. Comebacks to Tarinder Ratwata, who puts in a high kick. And once again, knock forward. Bhanuka Gamage chasing him this time, getting up on the feet. Sri Lanka having possession and advantage. It's a knock forward. So a good opportunity for Sri Lanka this time. Bhanuka Gamage making up for the mistake he did previously and brings the back position for Sri Lanka. Yun Lin is not that good under the high ball. I hope Ratwata and Rehan Silva have noted this down. And they will kick a lot to him now from here on. as Prasad Malinda to put into the scrum on the 40-meter mark. Good opportunity for Sri Lanka as Omalka Gunaratna going backwards from the scrum, not passing the gain line for Sri Lanka on that occasion is Omalka, as Malinda looking for the ball, comes out to Rehan Silva looking for players, gives it to Ratwata. Ratwata steps off one. On the outside is Prince Chamara cutting inside. He's been taken down by Chinese Taipei. Malinda once again, poor pass, and Chinese Taipei held on to the ball there. An opportunity for them to come out quickly as the playmaker fly up, puts the kick behind, and a knock forward once again from Chinese Taipei will give back position to Sri Lanka. Both teams conceding mistakes there, and losing good opportunities to counter-attack.
Absolutely, and you can see the frustration in the Chinese Taipei camp. They're really disappointed because they had two very good opportunities utilizing that kick to get them some space, because there was no one in defense on the right flank, and all it would have taken was a good bounce and a good collection that would have definitely been a sure try, Dinuk. And fortunately for the Sri Lankans, it has been going their way so far. Even in the previous occasion, I think the chaser really, rather than going for the ball, was worried whether Bhanuka would get to the ball faster, and he slowed down in his tracks, which definitely caused that error. And once again, no one really calling for that ball on that occasion, just scrambling their way through, hoping that it'll stick in their hands, and that doesn't really work. Situm Piris is now receiving a bit of attention from the medical staff as he slowly gets back to his feet. That's important for Sri Lanka. And again, as you said, with regards to that high ball incident, the Chinese Taipei player definitely seemed terrified of it, in terms of his facial expressions at least. So here we have a Sri Lankan scrum. They'll want to break the shackles here as soon as possible, because the scoreline is still 7-6. There's just 1 point separating the two teams, and Tharindra Ratwata now with a huge kick. This time extremely well collected, and you could see the confidence there. But again, Chinese Taipei now with an unfortunate error on their part as they concede possession once again, this time for being offside. So Sri Lanka now with the opportunity to try and get some good ground off this penalty. We haven't seen too many of the Sri Lankan line out so far in this game, and the Lankans will definitely want to get it right the first time. Again, not a very clean collection there, but it seems like there was an infringement in that line out, so possession is still in Sri Lanka's hands, as a wonderful hit there as the play is brought down. Sri Lanka now still with possession, trying to find their way through to get those extra 5 points that they really need. Continue to work on the left. Not much of support there, as there's a huge number of Taipei defenders on that side. And a wonderful break here by Sri Lanka as they make their way closer and closer towards the try line. Another brilliant offload in the making as well, as the Lankans now have space on this left flank, and they need to ensure that they don't actually make any mistakes in this attack, because it looks very promising. And a wonderful chip there as it falls into the hands of Bhanuka, who manages to offload it. And a penalty is now given in favor of Sri Lanka for that infringement. So far good work done by the Tuskers as they take that quick tap and make their way through. Still inches away as the crowd here awaits Sri Lankan try. Penalty conceded once again by Chinese Taipei. Extremely close stuff. And that's the second try of the game for Sri Lanka. Wonderful bit of work there. They were really consistent in attack, and like I said, they didn't really commit any of those unnecessary mistakes that they have been making right throughout this tournament in that attack, as they move on to 12 points, and they definitely have a much welcome lead rather. And hopefully if Ratwata manages to score those 2 extra points as well, that'll definitely put a lot of confidence in the Sri Lankan camp, as they really need to win this game to secure their place in this division. As we await this conversion from Ratwata. Crucial points that need to be taken here. As Ratwat readies himself, and this time it's through, so it's 14 points to 6 in favor of the home team. Wonderful stuff, Dinuk, and they definitely deserve that try.
Yeah, they do, especially Amalka Gunaratne, who scored that try, deserves it, because he's the player who took that after a nice pop pass from Tarinder Ratwata into the 22. From there on, Sri Lanka got a couple of penalties, and quick taps were taken during penalties. I was just worried was those the correct decisions, but in the end, happy that Sri Lanka walked away with 7 points into the first half. 14-6 the score in favor of Sri Lanka. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We're ready to kick off the second half of the first match on the last day of the Junior Asian Rugby Tournament. Sri Lanka leading 14-6 against Chinese Taipei. 2 tries, one for the skipper Tharindra Ratwata and the playmaker Omalka Gunaratne, both scoring for Sri Lanka in the first half. It seems like no changes have been made so far in the Sri Lankan team. As the next match coming up is between South Korea and Hong Kong. South Korea team just arriving at the ground at the back. As Chinese Taipei ready to kick off as they put in a high kick. Tap back from Chinese Taipei. And in the meantime, Sri Lanka secure position once again. Prasad Malinda looking for players, and he spots a gap at the back and puts the kick behind as Huang puts in a high kick. Good collection from Prasad Malinda. And referee playing advantage. It's a penalty advantage for Sri Lanka. And off the feet was the Ruckers who were arriving in support after that lovely collection from Prasad Malinda. And opportunity for Sri Lanka to put this into touch and go forward from there. As Ratwata brings play into the 22 of Chinese Taipei. As Nisal Desata will throw this into the line out. Sri Lanka lining up too deep for my liking. And nicely done in the lineouts from the Sri Lankans. They're looking to set up a maul. It's set up a maul, but going nowhere. Now the ball comes to Rehan Silva. Inside pass to Omalka Gunaratne. Slip the ball once again. Huang with the ball, and once again a knock forward for Chinese Taipei from Omalka Gunaratne. Couple of knock-ons today for the star player of the Sri Lankan team, and is disappointed, hitting himself for what he has done. 2 good opportunities, I would say. I mean, one open play, though he was inside his own half, Sri Lanka had a scoring opportunity there. The other one was right in front of the try line in the post. Try line fever. Malka just looking at the try rather than the ball. As once again Sri Lanka not steady in the scrums, as a long pass from Lee and a forward pass. Fortunately for Sri Lanka, an opportunity for them to hit back in the second half, early in the second half. And is the Chinese Taipei playmaker Lee, who has given the opportunity to Sri Lanka to make an impact just outside, 10 meters outside. Prasad Malinda with the ball, and the Sri Lankans lining 5 onto their right, 1 onto the left, with Kevin Dixon coming, and as Chinese Taipei make a substitute. Good opportunity, I mean, to attack from here on.
Absolutely, I think Omalka will be disappointed, but however, Chinese Taipei gifting this chance to Sri Lanka, and he'll be definitely relishing this opportunity once again to try and make up for that mistake. As Sri Lanka set this scrum up, this time he tries to go by himself, and he's very close, but unfortunately it seems like there was an obstruction in that process. So again the Lankans missing that opportunity to get away with this game, because another try here early in the second half would have caused a lot of worry in the Chinese Taipei defense rather, as they kick to touch and gain good ground out of this. So here we have the Chinese Taipei line out, this time falling into one of their players' hands as they look to work the line. opted to kick forward as the ball proceeds to touch, and now we have a Sri Lankan line out just within their own half. So the young Tuskers will have to start from scratch and make their way into the Taipei territory. As this Nayaga comes on as a substitution. Line out for Sri Lanka. This time it's been collected by Chinese Taipei, not the best outcome, as the Lankan defense will have to regroup once again and be wary. They wouldn't want to commit too many mistakes here, but they have managed to drive the Taipei offense far behind as possible. As the kick comes out for Chinese Taipei, and however again the Sri Lankan line not really behind their offside mark, so another penalty in favor of Chinese Taipei. So the game is continuing to move on the same trend. Taipei with a lot of possession, but Sri Lanka managing to tweak out those points. That's a slice kick, not the best outcome for Taipei, but at least Sri Lanka have more space behind them to work with. So here we go, Chinese Taipei now with the throw-in. Referee calls it as not straight. So again Sri Lanka with position. So it has been so far a ding-dong battle in terms of position and mistakes. Both teams not really being at their best, I would say. A lot of offsides, knock-ons, and we are into the third day of this tournament, third and final day rather. So you would expect them to be on top of their games by now. As Ratwatana with the long wood there. Again, not the best of collections, but it falls behind fortunately, as Taipei play is brought down by the Lankan defense. Chinese Taipei still with position, and they have been offered a penalty as well. So these woes continue for Sri Lanka. One of the Taipei players struggling to get on his feet, as the medical staff come on field to see what's wrong. We've had so many stoppages in play right throughout this game, Dinuk. Not really helping the intensity of this match.
Too much stoppage and too much mistakes conceded, and referee not happy with something. He wants to have a word with the assistant referees. I think it's on the tackle that was made there. I'm not sure who made that tackle, but so he will continue with the penalty, and it'll be just a penalty, not bringing down the players safely. He was lifted off the feet. As Chinese Taipei tap and run quickly once again, a knock forward, and a knock forward once again from another Sri Lankan player. So it'll be the initial knock on that will give Sri Lanka a scrum. An opportunity for Sri Lanka inside the Chinese Taipei territory to put a lot of pressure on their defense. As Prasad Malinda puts the ball into the scrum. It's been picked up by Omalka Gunaratne. Gives it to Malinda once again, who's dancing on the right flank. Setting it up beautifully are the Sri Lankans, and they gain a penalty for not releasing the tackler, quickly taken from Omalka Gunaratne, and he knocks the ball backwards, says the referee, so the play will continue. Prasad Malinda gives it to Rehan Silva, to Sheikh, off to Kevin Dixon, and it will be a knock forward from the Sri Lankans once again, and they lose position inside the Chinese Taipei half. Defense rushed on Kevin Dixon quickly, and that pass was not that good, and you call those hospital passes. You give it right in front of the defender, as Sri Lanka once again commit another mistake and give away possession and give the ball back to Chinese Taipei as they make another change. Tariq Saleh has been taken out. The referee not happy with the reset once again. So as the scrum being set up, and a short arm penalty given to the Chinese Taipei players has been brought down. They set it up once again, and the ball pops off the ruck, quickly taken by the Sri Lankans. Prasad Malinda now gives it to Bhanuka Gamage, who runs in beautifully, and has been given a penalty against him. Ratwat wants to have a word to clarify why that was penalty given, and it was against Gamage, who intentionally jumped off the tackler. That's what the referee signals. So the referee sticks with his decision and gives a penalty to Chinese Taipei. As they tap and run quickly, off it comes to their inside center. They find a gap in between. It's been brought down now for Chinese Taipei. Now comes Lee, gives it to his players on the outside. It's been brought down, and a penalty against Chinese Taipei now for holding on. And again, I'm confused. I mean that the Chinese Taipei, they did the same in the last match as well. Once they gain penalties, they are not confident to kick the ball into touch and work on a line-out set piece, rather taking quick taps inside their own half.
Absolutely, Dinuk, as Sri Lanka now have the advantage. Lankans with the line out within 5 meters of the try line. So they'll definitely be expecting to try and capitalize the situation. Again, well watched there by the Chinese Taipei jumper, as he manages to steal that ball right underneath the nose of the Lankan player. This time a lot of pressure put on the ball carrier from Chinese Taipei, and penalty won by Sri Lanka. Wonderful stuff here, as this definitely would be a good opportunity to try and work themselves towards getting some points. Even though that penalty was within kicking range, they'll opt for the scrum. They probably understand that they really need to break further ahead and secure the game. We're slowly approaching the 60-minute mark of this decider. Still with position, Sri Lanka now powering their way forward, using those big lads to good use here as they inch their way. Referee just trying to find any sort of view where he could get to see if Sri Lanka has planted that, and that's the third try of the game for Sri Lanka. Wonderful stuff by the Sri Lankan forwards, and they definitely deserve that as Sri Lanka move on to 19 points, and the Taipei defense definitely will be rattled by this point scored, as they will have to work extra harder to get some points on this game. However, the outcome of this game, as I believe Dinuk, will also have an effect on South Korea, as Taipei managed to shockingly defeat what was once used to be one of the Asian powerhouses even in the under-20 format. And finally Sri Lanka being extremely efficient as they managed to convert that try as well. So the score moves on to 21 points to 6, as the Lankans definitely have a strong hold of this game, Dinuk.
As they bring on fresh legs, Supunwarna Kulasurya comes in. This will give more stability in their line out. Throwing is a good hooker. And also in the scrums, Nisal Desata is a bit more small in size. And this will give a good advantage for Sri Lanka as Supunwarna Kulasurya comes in, and also Isuru Rangala comes in place of Situ Piris, as Sri Lanka once again knocked the ball in the restart and give away position to the Chinese Taipei forwards to contest a scrum just outside the 22. The Chinese Taipei star fly half Lee Chen has not managed to spark something out of this so far, and he will look for some magic, look to do some magic here. Chinese Taipei setting it up. Here he is, showing the ball off, and a nice inside pass to Lin. Setting it up is Chinese Taipei. Comes out once again, and the ball is with Su this time. Gives it off, and a nice little hands, nice little couple of short passes. Brings back play in. Here he is, Lee. Gives it to the big prop forward. That's Su. Good driving tackle from Sri Lanka, brings back play. And once again, a good driving tackle from the Sri Lankans. The fresh legs who's been brought in are doing good. That's Supunwarna Kulasurya who made the tackle. And another penalty for offside from the Sri Lankans. Chinese Taipei taking it quickly. Rehan Silva there caught offside as Taipei this time not entering through the gate. Off the side, the player comes, the third rucker, and Sri Lanka again the penalty. So good opportunity for the Lankans. 21-6 they lead, and if they continue, if Sri Lanka continues this type of play, they will survive for another couple of hours. If Hong Kong beats South Africa, they'll South Korea, they'll survive another year in the top division of the Asian rugby tournament. As the rugby championship matches also coming up today after a break. South Africa taking on Australia down in South Africa, and the All Blacks taking on Argentina. That's at 3:30 tomorrow in the morning. As referee playing advantage for Sri Lanka. Rehan Silva with the ball. It's been taken down and been pushed back as Akila Pereira takes it into contact. Prasad Malinda gives it to Tarinder Ratwata, puts the boot in, has spotted some pace at the back. No one sweeping there for the Chinese Taipei. Finally a defender manages to come back and runs at Bhanuka Gamage, and good couple of driving tackles from the Sri Lankans. It's been set up nicely for the Chinese Taipei players, and they earn a penalty and quickly taken. Sri Lanka need defense onto their right quickly. Overlap here. Lee has players on the outside. Now gives it to the support runner. Good tackle from Prince Chamara. And it's a knock forward from Chinese Taipei once again. That's Cheng Lin, who was on the outside with the ball right on Prince Chamara. And he brought him down as another knock forward. Couple of players down on the ground. Stefan Gregory, and it seems like it's Chanal Silva who is on the ground, as Dhirendra Ratwata comes in as a replacement for Stefan Gregory. It seems like will go out, and Sudham Suryarachi comes in for Prasad Malinda. We are ready to restart. As Shenal Silva is up on his feet. Isipatan skipper. Suryarachi involved quickly after his return from the bench. Started a couple of games for Sri Lanka in the first and second. And not straight, so Chinese Taipei will have the opportunity once again. And off he goes. He's the lock forward, the skipper, Lin Kuan with the ball. Now Lee on the outside gives it to Chain, and a knock forward from Chinese Taipei, and a penalty in their way once again. And it's an offside call. Sri Lanka guilty of a lot of offside plays today. Support looking for Chain. Chain steps off one, holds off another couple of players, brings down the play. Now off to Lee. Good hard tackle from the Sri Lankans. Now Lee with the ball once again, looking for support. Cut out pass. Prince Chamara reading the play very quickly there, and good tackle made on him, and a knock forward from the Chinese Taipei players as Sri Lanka turnover ball, and Prince Chamara taken back inside the 22. He cannot kick into touch, so Chinese Taipei with the ball now once again, returning the kick as Bhanuka Gamage waits for it. Steps off one. Good run from this strong wintry quarter from Royal College. And referee giving a penalty for Sri Lanka. So good passage of play, I mean, for both teams. But Sri Lanka equally good in defense to hold that good attack from Chinese Taipei.
Absolutely. I think it's a very good strategic move by the coaching staff to bring in the fresh legs, especially to support in defense. They do know that they have managed enough in terms of points and the lead, so it's all about securing that lead in the next 10 to 15 minutes and seeing this game through. And I'm pretty sure if they would have learned from their mistakes in the previous two games, that's exactly what they should be doing at this stage. We saw earlier South Korea scoring a try just 5 minutes before the full-time whistle, which definitely costed Sri Lanka's first victory. As we ready ourselves for this line out. And it seems like before that we will have that 1 minute break as we enter the final quarter of this deciding encounter. If Sri Lanka goes on to win this, then South Korea will be in a spot of bother. So we'll have to wait and see, as the next 10 to 15 minutes will be extremely crucial for both these teams. So you're back with the action on www.thepapare.com as we head towards the final quarter for both these teams in this under 20 Asia. As Sri Lanka now with possession of that wonderful line out that they just won themselves, as they'll definitely be hunting for that fourth try. And that would definitely earn themselves a well-deserved bonus point as well, and would help their cause going into the final game later today. So here we have the Lankans inching forward. They're really working hard after this break. I think they've sensed that the victory is just minutes away for them, and all the hard work put in these past few months will depend on these 15 minutes. No team likes to be relegated, and definitely not these Sri Lankans, who are definitely very strong in terms of what they have in mind. Is the Lankans still with possession and also earn themselves a penalty. So quick tap taken as the Lankans drive through the middle. Try to be a bit cheeky with that pass, but fortunately falling into good hands. And now a penalty being awarded in terms of an advantage here for Sri Lanka. So here we have the Lankans once again, this time working the opposite side. Space through the middle as the ball It's kicked forward, but the referee brings it play back to where the initial infringement took place. And again, this time Chinese Taipei guilty of being offside. And wisely Tarindra Ratwat opting for the kick to touch, as the Lankans will be pumped up with this line out. A try here will definitely put this game to bed, I believe, as the Lankans ready themselves. And once again, the Taipei jumper getting hold of that ball, but the referee spotting a small awarding penalty to Sri Lanka as they take that tap, this time trying to work. There's a still ball in hand, pushing, and another hospital pass, but fortunately the ball falling behind, and there's space for Dixon, I believe, as Sri Lanka still with a lot of space there, shoving way through as try and get those extra board and secure this try. And they do. Sri Lanka right from that start, they have really shown a lot of temperament as they work together as a team, and the end result is obviously a good one. 5 points more on the board as they move on to 26 points. That's a 20-point lead. Will be a tough ask for Chinese Taipei to match this in the next 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, it will be, and a lot of credit should go to the forwards there. They've worked their way right throughout, not giving position, not committing errors, kept the ball within themselves. Prasad Malinda, Sudham Suryaraju is in the replacement scrum half, talked to the boys, kept him cool, and suddenly fired a pass to Tarindra Ratwat, who ran in a nice angle, hard run. And for once I've seen him like a outside centre today, and he scores out of the post. Second try for him, third in the tournament, and he's having a good tournament, as the good season he had too, as he converts his own try. 28 points to 6 as the Sri Lankans lead, and Taipei looking to restart things quickly. And a good collection and a penalty to Sri Lanka quickly taken, but referee calls back play. So Ratwata will try to put this into touch and settle the game, and work on from a line out from there on. As Ratwat tries to gain distance, and once again a brilliant kick, almost gaining another 50 meters. He did this before too, and as another player is down on the deck. The referee wants to have a word with him, as Supun Varnakul Surya. Has been he's up and running. At the ball out. And it's a crooked throw once again from Supun. The losing position is Sri Lanka once again just outside the 22. Good gain from the penalty, but from there on, as Chinese Taipei put the ball into the scrum. Penalty for Sri Lanka. Opportunity for them. And will Ratwata go for 3 points? So opportunity for Sri Lanka as the line out once again. Not that good for Sri Lanka as Chinese Taipei regain position and hitting it up inside their own half. Now the ball has been turned over by Sri Lanka. Opportunity and looking for support as Somalka Gunaratne standing on top of the ball. Prasad Malinda gives it out. He's been taken down by Chinese Taipei once again. The ball comes out to Rehan Silva. Gives it to Ratwata. Ratwata trying to step off too. And he's been brought down to the ground and it's a penalty for Sri Lanka. And will they go for 3 points? They have a healthy lead. Will they go for 3 points is the question. As Ganguly Hanak is on the ground, not looking good. I think he's having a cramp. Ratwata and Shanal Silva there. Shanal Silva wanted to go for 3 points and Ratwata listening to his vice captain pointing at the post. I think it's a good call. I mean, at the moment, though they're leading of 22 points, it'll put beyond control for Chinese Taipei if this goes through. And it is in. Sri Lanka lead 31 points to 6. And match probably sealed for Sri Lanka. I mean,
Absolutely, like you said, a very good decision because it gives Sri Lanka a lot more to work with. And now the pressure is definitely on Chinese Taipei. Probably around 5 minutes left in this game as the restart kick is well into the Sri Lankan half. Well collected though as the Sri Lankans gather themselves to regain position there. Play well structured in the halfway line as the penalty is now been awarded to Sri Lanka as well. So a very good passage of play so far. And if this trend continues, the Lankans will definitely be worthy winners of this encounter. So here we have Rathwatha taking the quick tap there. Space on the right flank as the Lankans move forward. Here we have Kevin Dixon with the ball, who is a lot of speed. As now the referee playing advantage in favor of Chinese Taipei. Still good work by the Sri Lankan defense, pushing Taipei behind, but unfortunately not being able to have a clean hold of the Taipei ball carrier. And that's the end of the game. Sri Lanka win 31 points to 6, and definitely worthy winners of this game, as they will be hoping for a favorable result from the Hong Kong-Korea game as well, as the Lankans will hope to be consistent in this top division of this under-20 Asiad. I believe the players as well as the coaching staff should be commended for this wonderful result that they have put forward, and the Sri Lankan team will definitely be elated by this performance, Dinuk.
Yeah, they will be. It gives them the opportunity to finish second from nowhere for Sri Lanka. If Hong Kong beats South Korea with a good margin, Sri Lanka will have the opportunity to finish second. I think it's if they finish second, I think they deserve this. They've been outstanding, given the fact they were preparing only for the past month, and they were brilliant, and they worked as a team, and they were having a training camp in the past week. So since the All-Star game, the Papare.com All-Star game 1.5 months back, all these players have been together, and it's been nice if they would have finished second. As the match coming up next is between Hong Kong and South Korea. Stay tuned to the Papare.com. We'll be right back.